David will talk a little bit about some of the community outreach we're doing, but I just want to mention one event that we had last Thursday night. We had 3 adventurers come together in the Vic Theatre, which is attached to our storefront down in Nootka Court that we moved into as a temporary situation. We had Colin Angus, who's been around the world rowing and on bicycles over the tundra in Siberia. We had Tony Gooch, who sailed around the world in about 270 days. And John Guswell, who left Victoria in 1954 and sailed around the world in 5 years, returning in 59. These guys came and we had a little film presentation, and then they answered questions. And you could have heard a pin drop to the 220 people, sold-out crowd in the Vic Theatre. And it was a fundraiser, and it was an opportunity to talk about the museum and what we're doing moving forward. So I think it just epitomizes kind of the spirit of the place with our volunteers, our staff, and our supporters, both old and new. And we really look forward to continuing for another 57 odd years, if not longer. We do ask for your support. David's going to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff we're doing in the community now.
Thanks, Don. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to highlight some of the things we're doing with regard to public engagement. Because we have smaller space now, are really spending a lot of time reaching out into the community. And I just want to highlight some of those things. I think that first and foremost, from a Saanich perspective and the benefits that we're bringing towards you and towards your residents, is that we have barrier-free access in our new location at Nootka Court. So effectively, it's by donation. So all of your citizens have the opportunity to come down and take in the exhibits that we're going to have on display. This summer, for example, we are changing out our exhibits. We're going to have be highlighting the Sir John Franklin and some of the recent discoveries of the Erebus. So that's going to be on display. We're also doing a display on Captain Cook as well as on Captain George Vancouver. So these are all very timely and important subjects which we think will resonate both with visitors to the community as well as our local area residents. We're also this fall and winter going to be doing an exhibition on canoeing and kayaking, which we think is another very important subject for our local demographic here. A lot of people, their entry into the boating world is through a kayak or through a canoe, so we're looking forward to doing that. We're also going to be featuring a treasure hunt this summer on the waterfront, which right on the harbor front, which is going to be really exciting because not only will that be geared towards opportunities for visitors, but for families. So they'll be able to come down, learn a little bit more about our maritime heritage on the waterfront, in addition to be able to learn more about our cultural history in that particular area, as well as some of the natural landscape. One of the other things which is really important is, of course, our archives and library resources. A lot of people don't realize, we have over 40,000 photographs, and we also have over 6,000 volumes of maritime books, which we have in our possession. So it's a huge collection. And this year, we're also in the process of updating our website so that it becomes much more user-friendly, so people can actually go online, can get access to a lot of those photographs and a lot of the information which otherwise would have been more challenging. We still have our public facility open though, so that people can come down, can do library research, and can come down and research our photographic collections on site at Nootka Court. And I think the other thing, Don alluded to it, but it's hard to imagine that we have over 35,000 artifacts. That's a lot of artifacts related to our maritime heritage here in the Pacific Coast. We have over 1,800 ship's plans. A lot of people don't realize what we house in the collection, and we also have over 5,000 nautical charts. Plus, we have over 1,000 pieces of artwork. So it's an amazing display, and we now have that stored off-site in an environmentally controlled environment, which is wonderful. With the move that we've recently undergone, it's been an opportunity really to go through the entire collection, because you can imagine at the Bastion Square location we had over 50 years of collecting. So it was a big challenge for our volunteers just to go through and to try and pare that down. But now we have great storage for that. And I also wanted to mention in 2016, as part of our public outreach, we're also doing new school programming. We are reaching out through the social studies curriculum. We're looking at focusing on grades 4 through grade 7, and we're specifically going after early exploration, geography, navigation and charting, and first contact. So again, about this whole aspect of trying to reach out and providing more opportunities here for our local area residents to participate. We think all of that will be meaningful. The last couple of quick things I'll mention is just about our Maritime Memories program. This is one which we target towards senior centers, in which we actually go out throughout the community to deliver those programs. And I think some of you are aware that we do our annual garage sale, which goes on, which is our nautical or marine garage sale out at Ogden Point. That's probably the largest maritime recycling program that goes on, which I think a lot of people find highly beneficial and is certainly well received by the community and has been for many years. The last thing I wanted to mention, we do house within the collection 3 of the most important maritime boats that we have. One, of course, the John Guswell Trekka, the one which he had taken around the world in the 1950s. We maintain that. We also, of course, have the Telecom and the Dorothy, which a lot of people don't realize is the oldest maritime marine boat still in operation, which actually is older than the Bluenose. And so these are hugely important assets that are important to all the residents and all the people who live here within Saanich Peninsula, as well as the residents of Victoria and the region. So we really look forward to hopefully continuing to receive your support.
Thank you. Questions from council? Tina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is the Haliburton Community Organic Farm Society.
Hello, I'm Annie Smith, and my colleague Elmarie Roberts. We're both members of the volunteer board for Haliburton Organic Farm Society. I imagine everyone's fairly familiar with our organization since this is the 10th year we've presented and requested a small operating fund. The board and the Haliburton farmers thank you all for your ongoing support for local agriculture. The society holds 7 acres approximately of valuable, increasingly valuable farmland in trust in stewardship for the District of Saanich. This farm operation supported 8 full-time farm businesses last year, as well as numerous collaborations with other community organizations, Claremont High School, Gator College, Royal Roads, University of Victoria, and on and on. Your support is really important to help local food production as well as growing farmers. So thank you for the 2015 grant that allowed us to begin establishment of an accessible washroom that will increase access of our farmland to more people. We discovered that we could not create this washroom in the lower level of the farmhouse because of our drainage, and we have to create a freestanding structure, so we need a small additional amount of funding for that. Why we're here today is we are applying for a grant to maintain safe access to the education center, the old farmhouse on the land. This is used pretty much daily by the farmers, volunteers, and other organizations, and it is definitely overdue for repair. As everyone, especially this time of year, is familiar, water damage can be very costly, and we need to take proactive action to replace the roof. And that's pretty much what we're asking for, is funding to replace the roof. And this is Saanich infrastructure that is being maintained by this.
Any questions from council?
Just like to comment on your comprehensive report. I appreciate you reading it, and thank you for everything you do.
Councillor Plant?
I think that Councillor German was first, but maybe I'll just keep going with my questions quick. The CD Saturday event is not, because I don't see an ongoing request, I just see the 12,000 for the roof.
Oh, no, our request includes, it's primarily for the roof, but it's also a small amount towards the increased costs of the accessible washroom, and it's for the $500 for CD Saturday in 2017. We're most grateful for the support for the CD Saturday we hosted in collaboration with the Pacific Center in January, and we were delighted to have some members of council participate.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Herman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to comment on, to thank the volunteers at Halliburton. I was here at the start of the process, and it's been very much a huge success story. And I just wanted to pass on to council that I've been at 2 events in the last couple of months where Saanich has been pointed out, singled out actually, as a success story in encouraging local agriculture and local farmers. And I think that's true. And I think Halliburton Farms is a big part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Worthing?
Thank you very much. I live almost right next to it, and I'd like to compliment you on the way it is run and the way it does look. Even a boulevard looks good, so I just like to know that. Coming back, the question I do have is, how much of the farm is leased out? When I say leased out, there are large covered areas, not greenhouses, but they have falling over them.
Who poses in?
I get the sense that an individual has that for his operation, or is that run by the greater?
Each of the 8 businesses operates their own facility. There is one greenhouse, I believe, that is kept by the society for all participants on the farm.
So it's all run by the farm then?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Seeing none, thank you.
And thank you, and I echo the last speaker in admiring your endurance through 30 presentations so far already. And as part of that, we would also like to know if we would be able to present in advance next year, when hopefully we're not coming back for more roof repairs, but what's the process for providing a presentation earlier?
We've had a number of those. I'll ask the Director of Finance for clarification on that. Are there any limitations?
To the mayor, I believe the one that happened last night was done as a delegation, so that's a process that's open. I'm challenged in recommending grants night as 4 grant applicants that come through this process.
Yeah, the one last night was from, followed on from the motion from council, a special invitation. But there are others, such as Swan Lake and so forth, HCP.
Okay, my apologies, I wasn't following the presenter earlier. Those are, in essence, they're called grant applications. Some of them are management agreements. They are the substantial grants for ongoing organizations where Saanich is an owner of the land and the structure and has a management agreement for operations of those facilities as well. So it's a slightly different structure than the grants that are received at this presentation.
Okay, great, thank you for that clarification.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it does make sense. Although the District of Saanich does own the farmland and the farmhouse and the educational center.
Yeah, I think we can put those two together.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, up next is the Greater Victoria Volunteer Society.
Hello, I'm Lisa Moore-Putlin. I'm the Executive Director of Volunteer Victoria. I'd like to thank you for having the shortest podium in the city. I'd also really love to thank you for being a phenomenal volunteer community. At Volunteer Victoria, we changed our mission statement this year, which I know is disappointing for those of you that had memorized the old one. But our new mission statement is just to inspire everyone to volunteer. Because we believe that volunteering is a pillar in everyone's life. At every stage of life, there is a piece of contact with a volunteer. Whether you're an emerging student, an emerging professional, a new employee, a seasoned veteran, or a senior, there is a space for volunteering. And at a certain point in everyone's life, we require a volunteer for a helping hand, for community to reduce isolation, to help with parks, emergencies, schools, field trips. Volunteers are everywhere. This year in 2016, the fine folks at the legislature changed the Non-Profit Societies Act. Every non-profit in British Columbia has to refile its constitution and bylaws. So in 2016, we are working with thousands of volunteers, helping them understand new pieces of legislation and how to keep their organizations compliant and legal. We're also engaging in new research for stage-based volunteering for seniors, looking at how we not only help seniors volunteer in new ways over their 10, 20, 30 or 40 years of senior volunteering life, but how do we build more engaged volunteer positions for seniors? That, along with our regular work, which is helping anyone who wishes to volunteer find a place where they can belong, where they can engage, and where they can make a difference to places, spaces, and ideas that matter. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next is the Greater Victoria Visitors and Convention Bureau, Tourism Victoria.
Your Worship, Councillors, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak to you about our grant
Can I get you to move the microphone over a little bit? Okay, then the audience can hear.
application. This is Megan Travell. Megan Travell. Thank you. Manager of Visitor Services, and I'm Alan Paynes, the CFO and VP of Operations at Tourism Victoria. For 41 years, Tourism Victoria is the official nonprofit destination marketing organization and works in partnership with approximately 900 business members and municipalities in the Greater Victoria area and surrounding communities of British Columbia. Tourism Victoria's mission is to be internationally recognized as a leader in sustainable tourism development, ensuring Greater Victoria remains one of the top destinations of the world. The economic impact of tourism in the Greater Victoria region is in excess of $1 billion annually. Tourism Victoria's activities align directly with the visions and the goals of the District of Saanich, including those outlined in Section 6.2 of the Official Community Plan. 2, participate in partnerships to promote tourism, and 2, support tourism-related facilities, including all types of accommodation and visitor attractions compatible with the environment and residential areas.
We have about 50 small to medium-sized business members that are located in the District of Saanich that benefit from our efforts. A specific and recent example is hikevictoria.com. Our media relations team generates valuable coverage for them. Through our story pitching efforts to our journalist contacts, we were able to have hikevictoria.com recently featured in Huffington Post, which has a readership of 58 million. This is tremendous exposure. We received a testimonial from Mark Vukobrad at hikevictoria.com, who expressed his appreciation for not only our media and exposure efforts, but also our recommendations through our visitor center that led to direct business for them. In total, our visitor center has generated over $100,000 in ticket sales for Saanich-based businesses last year.
And through our website, we have booked 866 room nights for 2 Saanich hotels, Accent Inns and the Howard Johnson. The District of Saanich has also had a number of free listings on our website where we promote the district's parks and lakes, including listings for Swan Lake, Christmas Hill Nature Sanctuary, Gyro Park, and Prospect Lake. Through our daily content marketing and social channels, we have a collective following of over 100,000. And for 2 weeks of every year during the high season, we do a Saanich Peninsula takeover of all our channels, our homepage, and our e-newsletters that reach those 100,000 plus followers, which will help Saanich-based businesses attract more visitors during this key travel time. Tourism Victoria is seeking a grant in the amount presented in the application to promote tourism and support the year-round activities of the Visitor Center, where staff provide information to provincial, national, and international visitors. The information and guidance is provided through a number of channels, including in-person interactions at the center, online, and by phone. The grant funds will go to providing support to activities and functions associated with the Visitor Center. We would also like to identify that as a result of our budgeting and projection process for 2016, we've been able to reduce the grant request by 1/3 from what we have asked for historically. We thank you for your time, and we very much appreciate your consideration of our application.
Thank you. Questions? I'm going to go from Councillor German, Councillor Bright, Councillor Brown, and Councillor Plant.
Well, first of all, we thank you for the reduction.
History.
I'm just wondering, I presume it's the case, that on the website, thank you for featuring some of the Saanich opportunities that you have. I'm presuming there's a full system of links to, for example, descriptions of Saanich trails, other recreational activities.
Yes, I believe that was brought up last year where we did.
Yeah, I did, and I just wanted to check back this year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I knew you'd get a response from reducing your grant this year. And we all obviously are appreciative. And I know that you've been working with Victoria as well, and so that's why you've relooked at this grant. I think it would be helpful, as I understand it, we are, as a member of the board, we are looking at updating the website into a new marketing tool. Could you talk about that just a bit?
I could, probably, truly, Trina would be the best one
Oh, okay.
to speak to that, but what I can tell you is, yes, we are looking at a complete, for lack of a better, or a complete rebuild of the website. I apologize, I can't remember the terminologies that.
Yeah, I can't either, but as
It's,
Paul spoke about it, it's...
Yeah, it's not active. Anyways, I apologize, I can't remember that. But it's a dynamic website that's responsive. Thank you very much. It is a responsive website. Thank you.
Thank you. But I think, members, I think that's a really important issue is the website's redeveloped and how Saanich will be featured in a number of areas. Thank you.
Councillor Plant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two questions for you. Number one, can you tell me what are some of the district of Saanich business members that might have ticket sales as identified in item 2?
I can speak specifically to the visitor center. We sell tickets currently for Wilson's and Greyline, hikevictoria.com, and then we also just signed on the Gardens at HCP as well.
Okay, so as far as destination, it would probably be the HCP. Where's the other ones? Well, this one I don't, there's no tickets. Second question, can you tell me a little bit of the history of how it's only Saanich and Victoria that contribute? Can you comment on Esquimalt and Oak Bay? Have they been approached?
No, they have not. My understanding, and I apologize, I don't have the depth of the history, but my understanding from the other districts is the amount of funding that was available to apply for was quite small. And given the limited resources within the organization, to another gentleman that spoke before, resources and time versus return, it was chosen that we would seek funding from those other areas.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Haynes.
I'd just like to pick up on your website initiative. Perhaps when that's ready to roll out, that might be something that would be of appeal for a delegation, so council would be updated on that. We get a better sense, especially as some of our centres and recreational facilities, but also tourist centres are being featured. That would be handy, perhaps, sometime in the future.
Any more questions for this presenter? All right, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, up next is the Greater Victoria Bike to Work Society.
Thanks for having the chair. It's hard when you're a tall person to bend down. Your Worship, councillors and staff, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to present tonight. My name is Frank Hudson. I'm the old, new Executive Director of Greater Victoria Bike to Work Society, or new old. I thought I had retired, but my successor got married, got pregnant, and had a child, and they asked me back for this year, so things happen. This year is our 22nd annual Bike to Work Week, being held May 30th, June 5th. We're having our annual launch event on April the 13th, and all of you should have gotten an invitation to that event this past week. As you're aware, our purpose is to bring communities together and expand the number of people who cycle to work year-round. In a recent survey of participants who started biking to work during our event, 90% responded that they are still biking to work occasionally or regularly, demonstrating the beneficial impact of our free annual event. Last year, our 21st Bike to Work event, we saw 9,100 137 participants take part from 732 workplace teams. 34% of team captains indicated they started their commute in the district of Saanich, which is the highest rate in all of Greater Victoria, just slightly ahead of municipality of Victoria. Most importantly, with the invaluable help of our workplace team leaders, we recruited 1,350 new commuter cyclists overall. This brings the total number of cyclists who have tried commuting to work as a result of the Bike to Work event to almost 14,000 since 1995, which is significant. This year we're planning 18 celebration stations, which we set up on popular bike commuting routes each morning and afternoon of Bike to Work Week. A third of these stations, with free food, beverages, prize draws, and bike trash, will be located in the district of Saanich for a total of 6, including one just at the back here. To ensure cyclists are prepared and know the best practices to arrive safely at work, the Greater Victoria Bike to Work Society delivers bike skills courses for children and adults. Last year, we offered 5 bike skills courses, 4 adult courses, and 1 youth. The youth course ran at Nicole Arbutus Global Middle School, providing cycling education to all 5 of the grade 7 classes. 6 one-hour lunch and learn and 5 bike kitchen workshops were also held in the district of Saanich to kids and adults. These local and affordable courses trained 201 participants, enhancing their ability to cycle safely and more frequently. 70% of adults surveyed last year report feeling safer riding their bikes in traffic after taking our courses, and 75% are riding more often now than before. And I would point out that we have set up cycling courses starting actually now until October, and we're going through the recreation centers primarily, but we have several set up. You can see them online. In conclusion, I ask that you continue your support by approving a $4,500 grant to be used for this year's event. Funds will be used to help offset the cost of planning celebration station logistics, training volunteers, and promoting Bike to Work Week throughout Saanich and Greater Victoria. Our event ties in well to your 2008 official community plan vision and your 2014-2018 draft strategic plan. We hope we can continue to work together to make cycling a viable travel option for Saanich residents. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? No, thank you very much.
Thank you. I must say too that while sitting here, my former boss is up on the wall. Mayor Curtis, when he was Minister of Finance, I was actually his ministerial assistant, so it was kind of spooky sitting here.
All right, up next is the Gower House Society.
Mayor Atwell, councillors, I'm David Isles, Chairman of the Gower House Society Board. I have with me fellow Director Peter Bruce. We've heard a lot earlier about sustainability, and Gower House has worked for 25 years on sustainability. What we are sustaining are our senior citizens. I'd like to share with you a little bit about how we do that. And when I say we, I mean we at Gower House, but also I mean to encompass both those at Gower House and you, who are in charge of the municipality. Because after all, you own Gower House, and you helped cover our costs through your grant. So together we serve the senior citizens of Saanich. We all know how important it is for seniors to keep active, both mentally and physically. That's being referred to earlier this evening as well. Gower House is a vital resource which helps that happen. Our 500 plus members play bridge and mahjong. They do Tai Chi and a variety of exercise programs. They do crafts and art activities. Our members play billiards, practice French and Spanish, learn computer skills. We also put on workshops for senior driving, foot care, emergency preparedness, financial planning, and life transition, to name just some. And much of this is open to non-members as well. Seniors can also be lonely. We heard a bit about that earlier too. Gower House is a warm and friendly place. Some members come just to have some social time, a coffee, and perhaps to read a free newspaper. Not only do all these activities happen in the house, but as the house is located In an oasis of forest and garden, which we also look after, we provide green space and a refuge of tranquility for members and non-members alike. But tonight, we're talking money. So how is this facility and all these activities paid for? Well, our seniors pay for membership and pay again for every daily activity they engage in. Also, our members do a variety of jobs to keep Goward House running. They work in the kitchen, they work at the front desk, they even work at the gardens and forest, and some, rumor has it, even work on the board. Do they get $15, $30, or $45 an hour? No. In return for their work, they get a 50% discount on a simple lunch. Our few paid staff realize we are a nonprofit society and work for significantly less than they would receive anywhere else. They do this because they are dedicated and believe in what we do. We also do all we can to rent out Goward House for weddings and other events to help defray our costs. The result of all this is that those in our municipality get all this benefit. And what does it cost the municipality in a yearly grant, such as we now request? Just $35,000, less than the cost of just one staff person. If it sounds like I'm proud of what Goward House does, well, I am. And I think you have every right to be proud of it as well, because, as I say, it Saanich your senior center too. I believe if any other municipality was given the opportunity to provide this kind of service to their citizens at this kind of cost, my guess is they would feel it was a super deal and snap it up. Saanich is already lucky enough to have this service. We trust you will value it appropriately and provide us with